Hello again. So we're going to come onto our knees, walk the knees back just a little so that we're no longer on the kneecaps and instead on the fleshy part of the thigh just above the knees. The hands are directly underneath the shoulders, the elbows are unlocked. The rib cage is going to gently pull into the belly, and then we can hold it here looking straight ahead. Take a breath in, keeping your arms straight. We're going to slide the shoulder blades together, feel the rib cage lower towards the mat. As you breathe out, feel as though you're pushing the mat away, lifting the ribs away from the ground, opening up the shoulder blades and working just and deep in the shoulder joints. Breath in as you lower again. A breath out as you push up and away, opening up the shoulder blades, feeling the muscles in the chest activating. And we'll do this 3 more times, nice and slow. Double checking that the elbows haven't turned inside out. Making sure that the body is in a nice long line from the shoulders down to the knees, almost like a ski slope. And here's our last one. So we'll push the mat away, lengthen the legs, tuck the toes under, straight legs, turn into flexed hips as we go into downward facing dog. Let the shoulders slip down the back and the shoulders unshrug from the ears. And now the furthest leg from me bends, lifts straight up into the air behind you. You can drop the other heel into the mat to feel the stretch through the calf. Bend that top leg, reaching the foot across the body to open up the hip. And now as we slowly lower the body towards the ground, keeping our nice plank shape, we're going to bend the knee between the hands. Breathe in. Breathe out as you stretch the leg away, feeling totally supported on the arms and the shoulders. That heel drops back into the mat twice more. Breath in as you come down, breath out as you stretch back, keeping the knee bent and swinging the knee across the body to again open up that hip. Last one like this. Pause just here, take another breath in. Then as you breathe out, swing the knee across the body, point it towards the opposite elbow. A breath in as you come back to the center, twice more like this. Well done. So now we can lower that leg down onto the ground, bend what is now the top leg, and then move the hand forward slightly. A breath in as you reach your top arm back, opening up the chest, and a breath out as you bend your supporting arm, reach across the body, and take a stretch through the shoulder. Push yourself away from the mat again. Breath in, opening up the chest, the ribs, and a breath out, reaching even further this time. Feeling that stretch all the way from the hip to the shoulder. And last time like this. So, we can grow tall. Turn to face the other side of the mat. Lengthen the legs. Reach the arms ahead of you. And then as you breathe out, tuck the tail between the legs, roll yourself all the way down to the ground. The hands can rest by the sides and the knees can bend. Lift the knees up into the air and lengthen the legs. And now your furthest leg from me lowers towards the mat. The closest leg to me comes towards your chest, and we can begin to circle the legs away from each other, all the way up and over until the top leg takes you all the way up to sit. Turn away from me now, both hands on the other side of the body, and take a little bow towards the mat. Breathe in as you grow tall, the arms reach ahead of you. Breathe out as you curve the spine, rolling yourself all the way down to the ground. This time the legs go up together. The top leg circles away from the center, down towards the ground. And let's switch the legs over now. One more time each way, breathing out as the legs circle away from the center. Breathe in as the legs almost cross. And up we come to sit. One more time. Turn away from me again and take another bow towards the mat. Perfect. So now we'll come back to our hands and knees facing the other end of the mat. The toes can tuck under as you step back into your plank, feet are apart. The hips rise into the air so that once more we're in downward facing dog. And now this time the furthest leg from me bends, reaches into the sky. The other heel drops into the floor. We can bend the knee and reach it across the body. Breathe in as you lower yourself towards the mat. The knee hovers off the mat ahead of you. And breathe out as you stretch the leg back and over across the body again. We've got 2 more like this. Each time you lift the hips, lower that heel deeper into the floor. And now this time we can hover just here. Another breath out, point the knee towards the opposite elbow. A breath in to come back to the center. And twice more just like this. On this last time, we'll lower the hip to the floor, bend the top leg, take a breath in as we open up the chest, reaching the arm away, and a breath out as we reach across the body, across the mat. Take a bow towards the ground and bend your supporting elbow. Twice more. Lovely. So now we can turn to face the end of the mat. Reach the arms ahead of you, roll yourself back down to the ground. The knees bend, the legs stretch up into the air, making space for your spine. We'll separate the legs so the furthest leg from me lowers down towards the ground. The closest leg to me circles away from the center, all the way up and over, and then the leg takes you up. Turn away from me and take a bow. Grow tall as you breathe in, stretching the arms ahead of you. Breathe out as you tuck the tail between the legs, curving the spine until the hands rest on the ground. The legs come straight up into the air. We can circle the legs away from each other again. Breathing out each time. And we'll come up again, top leg leading you. Turn away from me once more and take one last bow here. Perfect. So we'll grow tall again, stretch the arms forward. The tail tucks between the legs, the pelvic floor engages as we exhale our way down to the floor. Hands resting by the sides for now. Bend your top leg, your other leg, until we have the knees sitting in a tabletop position just over the hips. The hands can reach around to the back of the head. The fingers can interlace. We're barely supporting the head here, just opening up the chest. Connecting the rib cage to the floor, take a breath in now. As you breathe out, the furthest leg from me lengthens across the mat. The body folds over like an origami, twisting your body towards that bent knee. A breath in as both shoulders lower down to the ground and the knee bends back over the hip. A breath out, let's switch sides. Closest leg to me lengthens and hovers off the mat. A breath in as everything comes back to the center. Let's go for 2 more each way. Using that breath out to narrow the waist, to draw the pelvic floor up and into the body. Using that breath out each time you twist to pull the ribs together, using the intercostal muscles to help you get rid of each last drop of air. And this is our last one. So now we can lower the shoulders to the ground, stretch the arms out to the side, the palms face up, the knees join together. I want you to imagine that you're resting your arms on a set of eggs. So we want that support, but we don't want to smash the eggs by pushing too hard into the floor. Take a breath in now. As you breathe out, the knees drift over to the right. Keeping the ribs closed, the ribs attached to the floor, just taking the legs far enough that you can support yourself with your tummy muscles without putting too much weight through the arms, and breathe in as the knees come back to the center again. A breath out, the legs go to the left, making sure that that right hip leaves the mat so you can feel that rotation happening deep in the waist. And a breath into the center. So now we'll change things slightly. We'll breathe out, take the legs to the right. Circle the legs down towards the floor, all the way over to the left, and back to the center, drawing a nice semicircle in the air. A breath out, the legs go to the left, circle down towards the floor, all the way to the right, and then back up over the hips they go. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can bring the hands together, lengthen the legs, and now as the arms go to the left, the legs go to the right, just a little way. Circle the arms and legs away from each other as you breathe in. And breathe out as you bring it all back to the center. A breath in to prepare again, a breath out. The legs go to the left, the arms go to the right. Circling away from each other, all the way back to the center. Ready to start again. We'll do one more each way. Excellent. So the hands can rest down by the sides, the feet can rest on the ground. The soles of the feet flat on the floor and in line with your hips. I'm just going to move my hair a little bit. You want to have the back of your head connected to the floor, the neck nice and long. Take a breath in with me now and feel the ribs expand side to side and all the way back into the mat. Now as you breathe out, pelvic floor switches on, the sit bones join together. The hip bones on the front of the body come closer, beginning to help you to peel the spine away from the floor, reaching the knees over the toes. And we'll hold it here. Your closest leg to me floats away from the floor. The knee balances in the air. Move the knee out to the side a touch so that both legs are in line with their hips. Stretch out that leg and now flex the ankle. Point the toe, keeping the hips high. Reach the leg all the way down to the ground until the heel clips the floor. Then the ankle flexes, lifting the leg higher and higher, closer to the face. The toe points, slide the leg through the air. Feel as though you're slicing through the atmosphere. The ankle flexes, last time here. Bring the leg just past north and then point the toe towards north. Can you rise up onto the toes of your supporting leg? Once, twice, 3 times. Hold the heel up and now begin to lower the spine back down to the floor, bone by bone. A breath in as you get to the bottom, stay on the toes. A breath out, the tailbone tucks under, rolling you back up into your bridge. And we've got 2 more like this to do. Start to feel the inner thigh on that standing leg really, really working, making sure that the knee doesn't flop out to the side at all. And last one here. Well done. So we'll lower that closest leg down to the floor. We'll float the other knee over the hip now. And a breath out as we curl up into our bridge. The leg lengthens. Make sure that the rib cage hasn't flared open as you flex your ankle. Point your toe as you lower the heel towards the ground, just tapping the floor briefly. Then the ankle flexes, slowly swings into the air. Toe points to bring the leg down again. All the time, try and make sure that the hips stay lovely and level with one another, that the tailbone is still slightly tucked under so the lower spine is neutral and not compressed. And then this time the heel comes all the way up into the air. The toe can point to north. Can you rise up onto the toes of your standing leg again? Breathe out as you melt the spine back down into the floor. Breathe in as the pelvis relaxes onto the ground. Twice more like this. Try and keep that heel nice and high on that standing leg, working into the calf. Always pressing the ball of the big toe into the floor so we get that lovely line of activation from the inside of the ankle all the way up to the pelvis. The last one like this. And now lower yourself down. The heel drops, the top leg folds, and both knees can come towards the chest for a little rest. Shall we cross the ankles and then recross them with our uncomfortable, less dominant direction, and then roll ourselves up to sit. Lovely. Take hold of an ankle in each hand. Take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, stretch out the legs ahead of you, opening the legs into a lovely V shape. As you breathe in, cross the ankles, the other way this time. As you breathe out, opening up the legs. As you breathe in, cross the ankles, the other way this time. As you breathe out, opening up the legs and hold it here. We're going to breathe in, roll onto the spine. Breathe out as you rock up to sit, keeping the arms straight and the shoulders down. Again, tuck the tail under. Inhale, roll back. Exhale to roll back up again. Balancing on the sit bones as you grow tall, curving the spine as you roll back. Last time like this. And up we go. Let's fold the knees, Bring the soles of the feet together, lean the chest forward, and let the knees open up like a butterfly. Let the arms reach ahead of you, make a diamond shape with both hands. Take a breath in as you slide the hands behind the head. A breath out as you stretch the arms up and over the shoulders. And twice more like this, feeling length to the entire spine, making sure that the rib cage stays together at the front. And last time like this. Well done. So now we'll turn onto our side. Let your lower arm stretch out underneath you, and your head can rest on your upper arm. We're going to have the lower knee bent, and make sure that the waist is lifted just a tiny bit away from the floor. Stretch out your top leg now. The ankle can flex. And now let's lift the leg into the air, keeping the waist away from the ground. So we know that we're not using side flexion of the spine. Instead, we're simply using the muscles in the hip and the glutes. Now press your leg back ever so slightly while the tailbone tucks under also. We'll feel a little bit more activation this way. And breathe in as the leg comes down. Something just as simple as a leg lift can be so effective when you do it with a little bit of thought, consideration for the rest of the body, keeping your alignment beautiful through the torso and the waist. Lovely. So this time, let's swing the leg forward. Let the ankle relax, tap the toe onto the floor. Sweep the leg up and over the body as though you're drawing a rainbow with your toe. A breath in as the leg comes down behind you. A breath out as you sweep the leg up into the air again, seeing how high and how wide your rainbow can go without sacrificing the alignment through the mid-spine. Last time like this. Lovely. So now the knee can bend again, the heels glue together. A breath out as the top knee opens away from the lower knee, making sure that the top hip doesn't roll back. So again, just really using our glutes as much as possible without using the spine to rotate ourselves back. We're going to do 3 nice basic clamshells, just like this. And on this third one, we'll hold it here. We'll lift the heel now, keeping the knee still in space. Then we'll lower the heel. Again, keeping the knee as still as we can. And keep going. So we're visualizing the thigh bone just moving within the hip joint. Visualizing those tiny muscles that control this area, just working at their optimum. Lovely. So now the heel points up. We're going to bend the top knee until the knee taps the ground just in front of the other leg. Breathe out as you stretch the leg away, making sure the spine doesn't arch as we do. Twice more, breathe in as the knee bends, tap. Breathe out as you stretch the leg up and away on the diagonal. And last one, just like this. Perfect. So now, let's bend the top knee so far that it comes just in front of the lower leg. We're going to take the lower arm and hold on to that top leg. And then we're going to take the top arm, stretch it towards me, turn the palm up and the thumb down as the hand circles back and over the shoulder, rolling back and feeling a stretch through the lower spine. Make sure that your circling arm stays a little bit bent here, just so that we don't hurt the shoulder joint at all. Last one here. Don't be afraid to yawn if you feel a yawn coming. That's just your deep neck flexors getting their little bit of work too. Perfect. So we'll bend this top leg so that the foot is flush onto the floor. Come all the way up to sit. Turn towards your knee and take a little stretch through the back and the hip. And that takes us nicely onto the other side. So lie yourself down, head resting on your upper arm. Just going to move my mic back. That's good. Lower knee bent. Your top leg straightens and reaches away from you. Have a look to see if your waist is away from the floor. Feel that length through the body all the way to the toe. the ankle flexes, we can breathe out as we lift the leg straight into the air. And breathe in as the leg comes down. Remember, your spine will want to sag towards the mat as soon as you lift your leg. Instead of using your hip, your body will probably try to just be lazy and use your spine. I know mine's trying to do that. So it helps to use the core muscles, using that exhale to engage the muscles to support the spine and give it the extra strength it needs to resist the weight of that leg lifting. So now let's swing the leg forward. Let the ankle relax, the toe can almost point. Tap the floor gently with that big toe, and then breath out as we circle the leg up into the air, using our core muscles to support the spine as the leg comes down behind us. Breathe in. Breathe out, circling up and over again, drawing our perfect rainbow. And breathe in as the leg comes down. Twice more each way. So when you're doing your exhales, try not to purse your lips too much, like this, because if you do enough Pilates, which I'm sure you do, and you purse your lips too often, you might start to develop some nasty little lines around your mouth, and nobody wants that. Last time coming up just here. So now that top knee can bend, the heels can squeeze together. We'll take a breath out as we lift the top knee away from the lower knee, working just the muscles in the hip, also in the tummy, just making sure that the spine stays beautifully long. And a breath in as the knee comes down. Your top shoulder feels nice and relaxed. Your collarbones are open, allowing you to breathe deeply into the ribs. And this is our last one here. So on our third lift, we'll lift the knee and hold it in position, still in space. This time lifting the heel away from the ground, rotating the thigh bone inwards, then lowering the heel to the ground, and allowing the hip to rotate outwards. Breath out as you lift, breath in as you lower. And here's your last one. So we'll lift the heel rather. Breathe in now as you bend the knee, tapping the floor just in front of the other leg. Breathe out as you stretch the leg away, tucking your tailbone under as you stretch the leg out, feeling maximum work in the glutes. Twice more. Breath in, a little gentle tap. Breath out, a big stretch all the way from the toe to the hip. And last one coming up here. So now the top knee can bend all the way down onto the ground until it's in front of the lower leg. Your lower hand takes hold of the knee or the thigh, and your top arm reaches towards me. The palm turns back towards your legs, the thumb turns down before we begin to circle the arm back behind the shoulder, letting your body roll away with your arm, letting your gaze follow your elbow, which will stay nice and soft and protective. A breath in as you stretch forward. Now can you feel the yawn brewing in the back of your throat? Just go for it. Breath out as you stretch away. And let's go for one more here. Lovely. So the top foot can plant onto the floor while we come up to sit. We'll take a little twist towards the knee and give the knee a hug and allow the hip to just melt into the floor. And now we can turn to sit on our bottoms, stretching the legs out ahead of us. Separate the feet by about hip distance and reach the hands just behind the hips. I don't mind which direction your hands end up, it just depends on how comfortable your wrists feel. You could even go onto your knuckles if you prefer to here. We'll lift the hips away from the ground, feeling a long line from the heels all the way to the shoulders. Elbows and knees are both unlocked. Then the hips swing between the hands. The arms open to the side, breath in, and then breath out as we fold forward and reach towards the heels, the soles, or the calves. Rebuild your spine all the way up to sitting. Slide your hands back. We'll go again. Breath out, lift the hips. The tailbone tucks under, the ribs are engaged, the neck is long. The hips swing between the hands again, ankles flex even more this time. Breathe in as you stretch the arms out to the sides. Breathe out as you fold forward towards the thighs, the knees and the toes. One more time, slide the hands back along the mat. Lift the hips away from the ground. And then the hips can come down. We can reach towards the toes and now relax down here for just a few more moments. So we'll grow tall. Slide the hips forward on the mat just a little. Roll ourselves down to the mat, bone by bone, exhaling all the way. Then the hands can rest down by your sides. Step the feet just a little bit wider than the mat. And when you're ready, both knees can drift over to the right hand side. If you want to, you can reach down and hold on to your left foot now. It doesn't go for everybody, so if it hurts to do this, then don't worry. Once you're there, let this top knee just lower down into the floor. Tighten the glutes on your left hand side, tighten your bottom cheek. And now try to gently press the shoulder down on the left as well. This should give you a lovely stretch all the way from the belly to the knee. So the knees can look back towards the ceiling, keeping the feet wide apart. Let both knees roll over to the left. If it feels good, reach down and hold on to the right foot. Let the right knee drop towards the floor. Tighten the glutes on the right hand side and gently press the right shoulder blade into the floor. And then we can bring both knees back to the center. Cross your left leg over your right, knee over back of the knee, over thigh. Let both knees roll over to the right, a gentle stretch, a little bit higher in the spine now. The arms can reach up and over the shoulders and stretch the arms behind the head to make this stretch a little bit more intense. And then the hands can come back. The knees can come back to the center, uncross and recross the legs the other way. This time the right leg pulls the left leg over to the left. The arms can come up and over the shoulder if you want to, and stretch all the way back. Hands can reach high, knees come back to the center. One last time, hold onto the knees. A breath in and a breath out as you roll yourself back up to sitting. And you're done.